This is QTV News and I am Jenna Bosonko. Coming up, two former students gave chilling details of the brutality they each suffered at the hands of the police officials in April 2000. Pura's newly appointed Director General visits QCell's Caraba Avenue head office. The Ibuka Nature Reserve was once a major tourist attraction. Is there any chance it can regain its faded glory? Illegally dumped waste is becoming an increasing problem. Not only is it an eyesore, it can have serious effects on one's health and quality of life. Those are our top stories, and now the news in detail. Stay with us. Binta Mane, the girl whose rape ordeal at the hands of a police officer was one of the two reasons that sparked the April 2000 violent student protest, on Tuesday testified at the ongoing TRRC public hearings. Later on, Saini Senghor, one of the April 2000 victims, also appeared before the commission and gave a detailed account of his ordeal. And Sumana Esonyasi is covering the TRRC proceedings, and this is his report.
Two witnesses appeared before commissioners of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission on Tuesday. Binta Mane and Saini Senghor were testifying in relation to the events of April 2000, which led to mass violent student protests countrywide, ending in the death of 14 students. First to testify was Binta Mane. In her testimony, she alleged she was raped by a police officer at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. The witness gave graphic details of how she was forcefully grabbed by the hand, taken to a dark place behind the stadium, and violently raped by a man in police uniform.
Did you feel any pain at that point?
Yes, my body pained.
Can you tell us where you felt pain? Can you say that again, Madam Witness?
My private part.
Did you sustain any injuries in your private part?
Yes, because when he released me, blood was flowing.
Furthermore, the witness also alleged that her ordeal has had a serious impact on her life, as she was forced to quit school and forcibly married off by her family due to the stigma of having been raped. Next up was Saini Senghor. In his testimony, he alleged he was shot by police officers in Esau on the 11th of April, year 2000, after he joined a group of students who were protesting, demanding justice for Binta Mane and Ibrahima Bari. Binta was allegedly raped by a police officer, and Ibrahima was allegedly mercilessly beaten by security officers, leading to his death.
I felt something hit my leg.
What leg did you feel something?
My right leg. That is the outside of my thigh. Because I turned to run, obviously I faced them. So when I turned to run, that is the reason when they shot, it get to the side of my leg. When I felt something hit me, I was like, I don't know, my leg stiffed, so I have to raise it up. When I removed my hand, I saw blood all over my hand.
Testifying further, the witness alleged he was subjected to several surgeries as a result of the severity of the gunshot wounds he sustained, and was at some point flown to Egypt for further surgery. He also gave chilling details of the impact it had on his life.
Because the distance from which I was shot was not too far, so it causes a lot of damage to my bone.
Are you saying that the bullet that shot you basically
Yes.
caused these multiple fractures in your leg?
Yes.
So as a result, they had to use this piece of metal, insert it in your flesh,
Yes.
just above the knee.
Below the knee.
Below the knee.
Yes.
Okay.
The witness also alleged that former Vice President Aissatu Njie Sedi gave orders for the shooting of students. He also told the commission that he now uses crutches because 5 of the toes of his right foot have been amputated. Ansomana Eso Nyasi for QTV News.
As part of the mandate to regulate institutions, Peru's newly appointed Director General Mamadou Jallow and his delegation paid a visit to QCell Kairaba Avenue headquarters. The CEO of Q Group, Mohamed Jah, and his executive board members warmly welcomed the delegation as they toured the facility. Aisha Jan has the rest of that story.
Newly appointed Director General of the Public Utility and Regulatory Authority, PURA, Mamadou Jallow, on Tuesday, 28 August 2019, visited QCell on a tour to familiarize himself with providers of certain public utilities in the various economic sectors that PURA regulates. Among these are energy services, transport services, and most importantly, telecommunication and broadcasting services. The Chief Executive Officer of Q Group, Mohamed Jah, receptive to the call, warmly welcomed DG Mamadou Jallow and his delegate upon arrival to QCell. DG Mamadou Jallow briefly stated the purpose of his visit.
The telecoms industry is very important as far as PURA is concerned. It is very much important for socio-economic development of the country. So we thought that we should come, engage you, being the leaders in the industry, to meet you, have a chat with you, so that we can establish a relationship that will take the sector to greater heights. We are the regulators. A lot is expected from us, especially from our employers and all the stakeholders in the industry.
Mohamed Jah says that business people do not like to be regulated, but regulation should be done on an individual level first. He spoke about the importance of compliance and respect between regulators and operators.
If we have stability in the sector, then government or the people gain in 2 aspects. One is as the operators expand, they have to hire more people, and that's what government needs. And as they expand also, they pay more tax. So I'm really happy to be among the sector which is paying the biggest tax in this country. The telecom sector is carrying, the biggest tax in terms of a sector in the country. And we couldn't have reached this level if PURA did not do what they were supposed to do.
The former regime of dictator Yahya Jammeh had an iron grip on the liberalization of television license for 2 decades, effectively blocking any competition in the country with the country's only state-owned television station. In New Gambia, QTV is the country's first private television station. Jah expressed his appreciation to PURA for the issuance of the license to QTV and Q Radio, as this has played an indescribably important role in the lives of many Gambians and its economy. DG Mamadou Jallow takes a tour around QCell facility from Q Money, customer care, Q Radio to QTV, assessing the work environment and the services QCell has to offer to Gambians. He gives his overall assessment and thoughts from the tour.
I find it very impressive. It seems as a lot of investment has been done here. And I'm also very proud of Mr. Jah because of his ingenuity. He's an accomplished businessman. I think he's doing a lot for the country in terms of the telecoms industry, TV, and other areas. So as the regulator, like I said before, we are ready to work with all of them. It's very encouraging. So all we need to do is to work together so that we can, take the industry to higher heights.
QCell has hired over 100 Gambians and even more people in its branch in Sierra Leone. It hires when it comes to quality of service and standards. Jas said, there is no Gambian way or African way, only the good way. Both men discussed at length how to improve the sector and that customer expectations are met in terms of quality and value, and that businesses should embody QCell in efforts of meeting the regulatory requirement of PURA. For QTV News, I am Aisha Jain.
The Ibuka Nature Reserve was one of the most attractive wildlife tourist sites in the Gambia. Recently, the nature reserve has been downgraded and the ecology is vanishing. Our reporter Ajibintu Drame went to visit the site, and this is her report.
Ibuka Nature Reserve is a national park in the Gambia, south of the town of Ibuka. It used to be a popular tourist attraction and was the country's first designated wildlife reserve. The area was first accorded some measure of protection in 1916, when the Lamin stream which flows through the reserve was fenced to form a water collection point. In 1967, wildlife officer and founder of the park, Eddie Brewer, and his daughter Stella visited the area and realized the conservation importance of the forest and its wildlife. Brewer made a request to the government for the area to be protected. In 1968, the Department of Wildlife, now the Gambia Department of Parks and the Wildlife Management, was established at the reserve. The park covers 134 hectares. Previously, the National Reserve was full of various animals that attracted tourists from around the world to visit. The park was home to such creatures as the range of colorful and rare birds, snakes of different species, friendly monkeys, lions, antelope, crocodile and hyenas, to name some. The flora was also worth observing, with an array of different flowers found in the park. The beautiful evergreen vegetation or scenery is the first thing that welcomes you. Over the years, the park has lost its status and its glory. The wildlife is vanishing slowly, and many of the wild animals that once inhabited the park can't be found there anymore, such as the lions, antelopes and birds. There are still a few monkeys and hyenas to be seen. Amadou Sonko, assistant park manager, and his colleagues take us through to tour the park. What caught my eye when I first entered in the thick forest, ground carpeted with dry leaves and wet moist sand, is the anthill called the termite mound. He explains its significance.
In the mound is to reproduce, and then they have the queen. They have social workers who are responsible of building the mound. They have soldiers. The soldiers are there to defend them from enemies. And then the mound itself is divided into 5 various parts. The outer part of the mound is called waterproof cover. Even in the rainy season, it will melt, but water will never penetrate it.
The crocodile pool has been in existence before the establishment of the park. The area was protected and made part of the nature reserve after the park was given fully protection status in 1968. The last recorded number of crocodiles was 57. According to Amadou, there could be more than the number. We were lucky to see only one crocodile on our guided tour. In times of security, the crocodile pool has no barricade to protect people. However, Amadou says it is a safe place. In 1968, the last recorded number of crocodiles was 57. According to Amadou, there could be more than the number. We were lucky to see only one. In the Gambia, tourism contributes significantly to the country's economy. In some ways, the park is an exquisite site, but it has been neglected. As a result of the reduced number of animals, the ones that are there have the freedom to roam in the large forest, including snakes that might be deadly. Monitoring, lack of facilities and resources to keep and maintain its glory has proven to be difficult. Binta Sambu, Senior Wildlife Conservation Officer, explains the challenges they face.
One can be human encroachment because a lot of people are coming in order to get firewood or the wild fruits like the kabas and I don't know how you call them, dita. Yeah, people normally come in to get those food. And then secondly, we are also encountering dumping along the perimeter fence. A lot of people are doing illegal dumping there, a lot of rubbish.
Binta says that compared to previous years, there used to be a lot of tourists coming to the park than currently, because there is no longer wildlife. Some go to other parks like Fatala, the snake farm and others to see wildlife. The animal orphanage is more like a rehabilitation center, seeing human-friendly hyenas, monkeys swinging from trees, and a few caged monkeys fed with peanuts and also an oldest tortoise, said to be about 35 years old. Amadou said most animals here are confiscated from people or are taken in if their lives are in danger or kept until they are strong when they are set free. Amadou said there is still hope the park will regain its former glory if the government takes responsibility and make it a priority. Ajibintu Dwame, QTV News.
We will take a short commercial break. When we return, the news continues.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
to build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
Light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With the touch of your fingers,
with ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Out of credit and there's no shops close by? Just eFund Kanta it. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. Illegal waste dumping in streets and alleyways in the Greater Banjul areas has health implications for the health and quality of life of an individual. Mam Jara A. Cisse tells us more.
Illegal waste dumping in streets locally called Mbalitumbeda is a daily activity by many people living in the Greater Banjul area and many other places in the Gambia. And it appears to be getting to be a serious nuisance. The disposal of waste and of spoiled food locally called nyamimbam by people placing them in the street or in front of their gates due to lack of waste disposals appears to be on the rise. In addition to such poor disposal of waste, in some areas, drill holes at the back of their toilets and other dig holes in front of their gates to allow the passage of unwanted water which should pass through a proper drains or to be collected in a cesspit locally called Sakaway to flow in the street in order to prevent their cesspit from getting full. Mariama Sidibe, a 9-year-old Bundung, gives her thought about the waste dumped behind her fence and the bad odor that takes over their compound.
I do not like this poor disposal of waste because I'm living with my children. As you can see, my bin is at the corner. Whenever they clean the compound, they always throw it in the bin. Whenever they clean outside, we always find waste thrown at the back of my fence. When I ask the people living around there, they always deny, saying that it is not them. And throwing waste, especially the remains of those rams slaughtered during Tobaski and the spoiled food, they throw it here, which stinks and can make people ill, especially young children.
She further urges the government to implement laws to deal harshly with people who throw waste in the streets. so that if people see them throwing in the street, they will report them to the police. Sukaijub, a resident also living in the same area, explains why they dig a hole in front of their compound.
So after
the reason we dig the hole is to allow the passage of unwanted water to flow in the hole, because the cesspit inside the compound gets full easily because of sand.
We contacted the National Environment Agency with our concerns. However, they were unable to provide an official to be interviewed for this report. Dr. Jaaf Sharab explains the harmful effects of illegal dumping in the lives of the people.
Health, it affects health adversely in many ways. Some of the ways that we can mention is causing respiratory problems, diseases of the lungs, and some of the problems that you can't even imagine is that it can lead to some forms of cancers that we know are because of the environment.
Illegal waste dumping seems like a problem that is here to stay. Unless we tackle it with determination, we owe it to ourselves and future generations. Most badly affected are young children who, due to this sort behavior, can get cholera, diarrhea, malaria, and many more. Reporting for QTV News, I am Mamjara Acise.
After commemorating its 10th anniversary, the Working Group on Women, Youth, Peace and Security for West Africa and the Sahel held a presentation of awards to some institutions for supporting the peace and security agenda. Aisha Jan reports again.
In our day-to-day interactions, Jama and Salam are frequently used words meaning peace. However, for many in West Africa and the Sahel, peace is an alien concept amidst continuous war and conflict. The Working Group on Women, Youth, Peace and Security for West Africa and the Sahel was established by the UN under Resolution 1325/2000. In celebrating its 10th anniversary, the organization held an award ceremony for various institutions, recognizing their supportive role in preventing and resolving conflict and peacekeeping. The Minister for Women's Affairs, Children and Social Welfare, Fatou Kinte, highlighted the crucial part the 2016 political impasse played in the formation of the network in the Gambia, as well as women's contribution in peacekeeping during the difficult time.
During the impasse, we also saw the important role played by the resident coordinator in the Gambia, Ade, and also the former president of Liberia, Helen Jensen Sirleaf. When Yahya Jammeh refused to leave the country, it was through the efforts of these two women which made him finally leave the country, and he left peacefully, and peace continued to reign in the Gambia. That shows the importance or the important role that women can play in making sure that there is peace.
There are popular misconceptions that the youth are violent and that women are weak. On the contrary, youth and women play a critical role in promoting and sustaining international peace and security. Emily Sarr, United Nations Development Programme UNDP representative, elaborates.
To have a perspective, to have insight in preventing conflict. Nene has just highlighted the situation in Liberia. We've seen it here in the Gambia. She forgot the Gambia. We have seen active participation of women in peace building coming into the forefront with their brooms. Symbol of peace is the broom to say we want peace. We have seen that.
Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of the Interior, Bulli Mustafa Diba, says that peace is women and women are peace. He stresses that the presentation of awards to institutions for a job well done cannot be overstressed as it fuels spiritualism and motivation.
People move, but institutions stay. When we have this in an office that is occupied by somebody, that person leaves the office, somebody else comes in, the spirit will continue. That is the purpose of giving awards and giving prizes to people, so that we maintain the spirit, we take the ownership and the sustainability, the continuity of what we are all fighting for. If we believe it and if we want it seriously, we can have it and we can get it done. We can have peace on our continent.
UNDP representative Hadi Jonga expressed appreciation and recognition of the award to UNDP and promised that the institution will keep up the momentum. The awards were presented to United Nations Development Programme UNDP, United Nations Population Fund UNFPA, Ministry of Women, Children and Social Welfare, and Women's Bureau. QTV News, I am Aisha Jain.
Guinea-Bissau under-17 defeated the Gambia 1-0 to gain revenge for their loss in the first game in the two-match series. Malik Nyang watched the match and this is his report.
Guinea-Bissau and Gambia under-17 went head-to-head for the second time in less than a week in a friendly, with Gambia having triumphed 4-1 in the first match. The second, keenly contested match was a much tighter affair than the first. Gambian fans had turned up hoping to see a repeat of the 4-1 drubbing handed to the visitors in the previous match. It was an action-packed game, with the hosts putting their opponent Guinea-Bissau under intense pressure. However, despite having the Lions' share of the ball and many chances to score, this time Gambia lost the game, just as the match seemed to be heading for a 0-0 draw. The Independence Stadium was stunned when Guinea's Marciano Chame scored this header in the last minute of the extra time of the match. After Buche Kande's free kick, putting Guinea-Bissau in the lead, they would hang on to. Guinea's head coach, Alpha Omaru Balde, said the people of Guinea love football and it is the secret that pushes them ahead.
I will tell you that in Guinea-Bissau, the population loves football. That is our secret, and if you love something and work towards it, you will achieve it.
After the game, Gambia's head coach, Abdoulaye Bojang, reflected on the loss and said the goal came at a very bad time, but he realized where the error was made. Having lost the first game 4-1, Guinea-Bissau wanted and got revenge for the loss. Although theirs was narrower victory margin, they would have been pleased to have gained revenge for that loss and to emerge with honors shared over the two-game series. Malik Nyang for QTV News.
Before we end this news bulletin, let's recap our main headlines. 2 former students gave chilling details of the brutality they each suffered at the hands of the police officials in April 2000. As part of the mandate to regulate institutions, Peru's newly appointed Director General Mamadou Jallo and his delegation paid a visit to QCell Kairaba Avenue headquarters. The CEO of Q Group, Mohamed Jah, and his executive board members warmly welcomed the delegation as they toured the facility. The Ibuka Nature Reserve was once a major tourist attraction. Is there any chance it can regain its faded glory? Illegally dumped waste, it's becoming an increasing problem. Not only is it an eyesore, it can have serious effects on one's health and quality of life. That is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Do join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Thank you for watching.